technically do work. Aquila, thank you. All the plants do work for hermit crab habitats. They have to be non-toxic. They have to hold up in a humid environment and be okay with the sandy soil. So a lot of them are bromeliads. Also calatheas are great. They're kind of temperamental. I had a calathea in my bioactive test tank, and it got sad kind of fast, but they're temperamental plants in general. I think if you're a good plant person, they'll work. Spider plants, of course, are absolute weeds. They do great. I'm scrolling through the list right now. Of course, mosses. I know there'll be other talks about different types of mosses that work well. There's live mosses, air plants, all those work great. My favorite is the cryptanthus. They are beautiful. They have shallow roots, and their leaves are so thick that the hermit crabs have a harder time destroying them. Just love those. There's also lots of different types of ferns and pileas that work well. But if you go to our, what do you call it, the expo, and go to the Josh's Frogs booth, you can definitely see there's a link to that category if you want to scroll through all the plants. Let's see what else. So a good starter plant, Ashley. Again, I love the cryptanthus. They are so easy and forgiving, and they really hold up to the hermit crabs. And of course, the air plants and the bromeliads are also good starters. The bromeliads can be a little bit harder to water. I showed watering them in the video because if you have them mounted on something permanent, then you have to water inside the habitat, which could lead to you accidentally spilling water. So they're a little bit harder, but as far as care goes, they're pretty easy. Oh, okay. I haven't seen any camera requests yet, Dakota, but if I see some, I could allow them. Yeah. Let's see. Oh, do I pot most of the plants in the tanks? I just pot ones that I know have larger root systems. Personally, my tank is not set up bioactive right now at home. I have too many hermit crabs, and if you're in the presentation about the ease, like, they destroy things. Like, so just because I do have a lot of jumbo hermit crabs, and I don't enjoy the extra maintenance that comes with plants. So I don't have plants in most of my tanks, but the ones I do, I don't like potting them. I like the plants that can be put in without potting, because my hermit crabs like to bury themselves in the pots too and dig them out of pots. And it's a process. Cryptanthus. The spelling was really close. If you want to Google it, Ashley. Let's see, I can spell it out here. Cryptanthus, if that's what you were wondering. Yeah, fake plants and real ones can definitely go together. You don't have to do one or the other. Oh, Nikki, the lucky bamboo is a toxic plant that is on the no-no list, I believe. Because lucky bamboo is actually a Dracaena, not a bamboo. So while I have grown lucky bamboo in my fish tank in freshwater, I would not recommend it for a crab habitat. I'm trying to think. Most of the plants I know that will grow out of a freshwater tank aerially, they're all technically toxic. So I'll have to think on that one to see if there's a replacement for lucky bamboo. How many tanks do I have, and what types of crabs do I have? So I'm going to be doing a talk with Mary or a Q&A tomorrow with Mary, and I will be at home on that day. So I'd love to have those in the background if you want to see them. But I have 2 tanks. I have 110, and I have a 90-gallon that has a 90-gallon topper on top of it. I have purple pinchers and Ecuadorians. Yes, Dakota is helping me to not have to search the chat, because I do want to read everyone's comments, but I'm having a hard time picking out comments from questions. Yes, Mary, I do have baby crabs. I love them. They are so adorable. I don't see them as often since my tanks are so huge. I think there's so many places for them to hide. But especially if I go in at 11 p.m. at night, I love to see the babies out and about. They like climbing the walls so much. Snake plants, I also believe, are on the toxic list, Jay. Like at least they're toxic to cats and dogs. I'm not sure how much research has gone into if those same compounds in those plants are toxic to hermit crabs as well. But I believe when I researched house plants for my house, because I have 2 cats, I believe snake plants are toxic. Though I know they would do well with hermit crabs just because they have tough leaves and they can live in the sandy soil. But I do believe they are toxic. Yes, Nikki, there's definitely safe ferns. So on the plant list on Josh's frogs, I believe, let's see, what kind of ferns do I have on here that I compiled this list a while ago? I know there should be some on here unless they moved them on me. Oh, I'm not seeing any on here. I wonder if, oh, we may be out of stock of ferns right now. If something is out of stock for a long time, they will remove it from the list. But I do believe most ferns are non-toxic. And a lot of them can actually be mounted and grown in the air, like bromeliads can, which is really cool. Some of my personal favorites are the white rabbit's fern and the black rabbit's fern. Like I said, we may be out of stock, but I know those two are really cool, though ferns are often more delicate. And, sorry. Ferns are often more delicate. So if you have large crabs, the ferns may be crushed, though they technically are safe. Let's see. Oh, I noticed I had my phone in the way of the request down here. Yes. My large tanks do have toppers. Well, the one does. I have a 90-gallon, and it has another 90-gallon tank on top of it. Are the pack of 5 plants in stock low maintenance? Yes. The 5-pack of hermit crab plants in stock right now, those ones are, when we did testing, we found that those were the ones that did best in hermit crab tanks. So you're likely going to receive a mix of bromeliads, the air plants, a cryptanthus, and a spider plant. So those will have the same care as what I mentioned in the video. Do you know if local nurseries use more chemicals? Yeah, I actually talked to our plant department a lot about this because Josh's Frogs does use some chemicals and pesticides just so that people don't get bug and pest infestations in their tank. But since they are meant to go in dart frog vivariums, they go through a strict quarantine process. And after they are fertilized and have the pesticides used, it's 2 weeks before their sale and they are rinsed down. And we recommend rinsing them down when you get them. So you can still do a quarantine process if you want with them, but our goal at Josh's Frogs is to make sure that there isn't anything dangerous for your pets once they get to you. And local nurseries, they don't have, they do use other pesticides and fertilizers because they're not intending anything other than humans to interact with their plants. So they don't need to go through the kind of care that we have to. So let's see. In the 5-pack of plants, how large is the biggest one? The biggest one that you will get in there is the spider plant. And spider plants can get quite large because they will keep sprouting. They'll keep making new plants and it'll just keep getting wider and wider. Oh, I can share my screen. That's fun. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I'll have to remember that. So I'd say the spider plants, they don't get too tall. I'd say, spider plant might get about that tall. So it would fit in, I wouldn't put it in a 20. I mean, you could put it in a 20-gallon. We sell them small so that they do fit, but it will eventually outgrow it. I'd say 40 gallons are really solid for spider plants, and they can always be trimmed and cut. Um, let's see, Nikki. Oh, the pothos. Pothos. I know people have used the pothos in hermit crab tanks before. They are technically non-toxic. I did have my parents' dog visited once and got into the pothos at my house, and she got really sick. So if the hermit crab does decide to eat the pothos, it could go badly. Though I've also heard that hermit crabs can tell if something is toxic and might avoid it. I don't think I know of any non-toxic vines off the top of my head, unfortunately. I use artificial vines in my tanks. Yeah, Grace Foster, that's awesome that your hermit crabs don't go after the pothos, because I love them. They are beautiful. I use them in my crested gecko tank, and she loves them. But yeah, so you're always able to experiment with different plants if you want to, and watch it. But I personally like to stick to the non-toxic ones because I worry so much. Is it okay to add plants without the bioactive substrate? Yes. We did experimenting on the non-bioactive substrate, and we found that the plants just weren't getting the same kind of moisture they should. They just struggle a little bit harder. I know you can also do pots with cocoa fiber in them, which will help maintain the moisture. So yes, you can still do plants without a bioactive substrate. Which bioactive substrate on the website did you use in the video? I used our hermit crab biobedding, Ashley. We actually made a bioactive substrate and tested it specifically with hermit crabs. So yeah, that's the one we used. I wouldn't use any of the other bioactive substrates on the site. They are not made for hermit crabs and have extra ingredients like charcoal that really don't need to be there, and they're a bit chunkier. Floating plants. I have floating plants in my tanks at home. Josh's frogs. Actually, we just started selling it. We have a plant called duckweed, and duckweed is a great food source for, I know people feed it to like goldfish, they feed it to turtles. So I believe that it should be safe for hermit crabs as well. It's called duckweed. And yes, that is on Josh's frogs right now. I use duckweed and some other floating plants in my tanks right now. The hermit crabs do pull them out of the tanks on their shells when they exit the pools, but it does work in the if you have like a larger freshwater pool. It wouldn't work in a freshwater dish, but if you have a large freshwater pool, you can definitely do floating plants. Oh no, Stacy, you killed your duckweed. That it happens. If you have a really strong filter, duckweed, I don't know. A lot of floating plants don't like fast water movement. So if you have like a bubbler, that'd be great. But if you have like a filter, it may go a little bit. And is duckweed large? Erica, the duckweed we sell at Josh's Frogs is the miniature kind. There is a large version of duckweed out there though. So depending on the variety you get, there is large and there is small. Yeah, I'm not great at plants too. I love having house plants. I'm a terrible plant mom. And then I can't have my hermit crabs working against me. So I don't do plants in their habitat. I think it's beautiful, but I already struggle enough without them trying to murder them. Let's see. Oh yeah, you have the algae in your saltwater pool, Stacy. Yes, I tried mangroves in my saltwater pool, and they did really well until I got my Ecuadorians. Ecuadorians love to climb my mangroves, tear all the leaves off, and then eat them. So my purple pinchers were much nicer on my mangrove plants. And I did get I think it's called like chateau. It's like CHATO. It's some sort of saltwater algae. And that's been doing pretty good in my hermit crab tank. I haven't seen them destroy that yet. Cassie. Yeah, duckweed can go in the freshwater pool if you want to. It can, like, hermit crabs can make a mess of it because they'll get it on their shells and carry it around. But if you want to add a little decoration to your freshwater pool, you can definitely try duckweed because it's another good plant that they could eat too. It's very healthy. I know a lot of people feed it to their other animals. And is there any saltwater floating plants? If someone else is a saltwater keeper in here, I would love to know. I just started getting into decorating my saltwater pool within the last couple of months here. And I do not know of any floating saltwater plants, but I haven't looked too far into it. I've only bought plants based on what my local pet stores have at the moment. Is there any tank decor at Josh's Frogs that you've seen crabs especially like? Yes, I have. I talk about it. I talk about this like, I'm sorry, Cassidy. I'll answer Lily's first, and then I'll get to yours. But let me see if I can share my screen for a second. I'm not sure where the button is. Oh no. Well, anyways, I guess if you search Cocoa Planter Mat on Josh's Frogs, that is the favorite thing of my hermit crabs in their tank. I can show it off tomorrow when I'm at my house for the other session. But it's like it's a background mat, and here I actually have one up here. These things, I think I might have shown off in a video before, but these, if you're getting live plants, are also great for some of the live plants, like air plants. You can tuck them in these pockets. The hermit crabs love sitting in these pockets. It is so much fun to watch them climb this and sit in this. Let's see. Is it bad if algae grows in saltwater pool? No, I don't think it's bad if the algae grows in saltwater pools. Actually, algae in aquariums isn't bad in itself. Algae actually takes care of like nitrates and cleans the water. But the problem is if you're getting too much algae, that probably means your tank is getting too much sunlight or it's too dirty. So algae isn't bad, but what causes it can be. So let's see, I'm gonna go to Cassidy right now. I clicked the button, I'm not sure what happened. Let's see. Nikki. She might have canceled her request. Okay. Sorry, Cassidy. Nikki, Anubias. Yes, I love Anubias. I have it in my dart frog freshwater pool at home. And I don't know, again, about toxicity if hermit crabs eat it, but it grows on driftwood really well. And it's very hardy. So, and it actually can grow out of the water. It can get too tall, and if it's humid, the leaves stay nice growing out of the water. So I think that could definitely be experimented with. If you try it, let me know with your hermit crabs. Lily, is there a special way to hang up that cocoa mat? I used egg crate, so I stuck command strips in my hermit crab tank, and then I hung up an egg crate sheet. They're a light diffuser panel, like at Home Depot. And then I took jute twine and I tied the cocoa planter mat to the egg crate. No, this is okay. I have a lot of pets. I work at Josh's Frogs, and it has enabled me to get so many pets. We have a pet room. I don't want to mention exactly how many pets I have, but we have fish, geckos, dart frogs. I have my hermit crabs. It's a bit much. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, you have live rock in your saltwater pool? That would be cool to try. It'd be a great exit and enter ramp. Yes, Josh's Frogs. We have imported these cocoa mats from Sri Lanka, I believe. So yes, we do sell these at Josh's Frogs. I'm not sure if you can get them anywhere else because we do import them. Yeah, so there's the cocoa mat with the planter pockets, and then there's flat ones. Both work really well as backgrounds. And I've been using them in my hermit crab tanks for at least a year, and they hold up really well. I don't know if you've ever tried using the cocoa mats that are meant for plants that you might find at Lowe's, but those ones fell apart so fast on me, it's not even funny. The ones from Josh's Frogs have held together really well. The button should be under my microphone. Where did I get my egg crate? I got it from my local Home Depot. I believe they called it a light diffuser panel. It was kind of closer towards the wood and insulation section. Yeah, I think it was about $17 for me. But I have like a 90-gallon. So again, I was able to use the whole panel. So I didn't waste a lot. I know there's actually some sellers on Etsy that will sell little pieces if you only need little pieces. I don't remember the names of the shops, but I do know there are some shops that sell it in smaller pieces. Let's see. What would you do? Oh, yes. I know a lot of people don't want to do isopods because some of them do breed really fast. If that is a concern of yours, I definitely recommend the Cubaris marina. I tried starting those in my new hermit crab tank, and they ended up breeding not fast enough, and my powder oranges took over. So, but yeah, my powder oranges, since I have dart frogs, I like to leave like a little like piece of like wood, like a little like half round or a tunnel, and my powder oranges will gather up under it because it helps. It's usually more humid under a piece of bark, and then I'll take that piece of bark out, and then I'll take it to the dart frog tank, and they will eat the isopods. But if you don't have another pet that would like to eat isopods in large quantities, you can put them in a bag and freeze them if they are not native to your area. But the isopods definitely do collect in certain areas, and you can remove them and put them either in the freezer or in a pet's tank. Have I ever used, Rochelle, have I ever used cocoa fiber rope? Yes, I have. Josh's Frogs, I was so excited when they got their cocoa fiber rope in, and I made a bridge with it. I took branches and drilled holes through them, and I used the cocoa rope to make a bridge. I haven't had any issues with it getting moldy so far, and it's held up really nice for me. It's also a little bit thicker. I know sometimes when you get the jute twine, it can be like a thin little string, but the cocoa fiber ropes are usually really thick. I think they're meant for like people growing plants outside, like maybe like beans or something that like to vine upwards. Yeah, Lily, I use cocoa fiber rope. I'm actually not really well versed in safe jute twine. So if anyone wants to chime in on where they've gotten their jute twine from and what's worked for them, let her know. Yeah, since I work at Josh's Frogs and I have access to a lot of these materials, my tanks are pretty much exclusively Josh's Frogs products, just because I can do an employee order and it'll just like show up like the next day. So are command strips safe to use in the Crabitat? Yeah, I believe they're pretty common to use in Crabitats. It's nice for holding things up because I've never had any luck with suction cups. But I think you want to stick to the all plastic command strips. I know there are some that have metal on them. So yeah, definitely can use command strips. Kathy, do you mean live sand as in like what's used for like saltwater tanks? Let me know. I like saltwater live sand. I actually used it in my saltwater pool and it's been going well so far. Though I don't know about using it instead of play sand in a Crabitat. Let me know if that's what your question was. Yes, Nikki, I believe when you search for plant recommendations for hermit crabs, there's a lot of recommendations that are actually like garden vegetables, like lettuce. I've seen lettuce and like chia recommended a lot. So I think beans could be an option. That'd be interesting. I have grown a sweet potato vine indoors before, but I'm not sure. I know sweet potatoes are good for hermit crabs. I'm not sure if the vine is or not, because sometimes plants would, like their leaves and their fruit are like different levels of edibility. Definitely cross-reference with the Crab Street Journals and Land Hermit Crab Owner Society, their safe plants list, and see what they have to say about that. Erica, live sand is mainly in the saltwater hobby. I personally am not well versed in saltwater, but I think the live sand is supposed to mimic the ocean and have bacteria in it that helps jumpstart the saltwater tank faster. Because when you're setting up like a fish tank, it needs to be almost like a complete ecosystem that processes the fish's waste. So I believe live sand helps with that. I don't know much more beyond that, unfortunately. Sweet potato vine is non-toxic. That is great to know. So yeah, I've definitely grown that indoors before. It wasn't too hard to start. I actually started in a freshwater pool. So let me know how that goes, guys, if you're trying this. There we go.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Nice to meet you.
So I just wanted to share like my tank. It's a 55-gallon. It's a little messy right now because my crabs are crazy, but they have, and I need to like clean out their water, but like that's their salt water right there. It's a 1.5 gallon, and then they have got it's so messy, I'm telling you. They're crazy in here. But that's like their little shelf shop there. And then their wheel, they've been crazy. They've been actually like climbing on the top and staying on there. But I've made it like half bioactive, so that's why I was wanting you to share.
Yeah, it looks really natural. I love it.
Yeah, so they climb on everything. And I was going to show you my live plants. I don't know if you can see them at all because it's kind of dark in here. But I have live plants down there, and they don't seem to like bother them much. So it's pretty cool. And then I have this tiny colony of isopods down there. I don't know if you can see them.
Yeah, I can see some movement. What type are they?
They're the orange, the powder orange, and the powder blue. Yeah, so they're kind of crazy too. But yeah, I've made it bioactive, and then kind of even made the saltwater pool, the saltwater pool actually, or the freshwater pool. I actually have little tiny snails in there, and they do great with the hermit crabs. They don't usually mess with them, but it helps keep the tank clean too, between like the freshwater plants and then the little snails. So cool. Just wanted to share because I thought it was kind of cool to start going bioactive. Just don't have the plants yet, so but my name's Aquila, just so you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm glad I could kind of pop on here so I could share. But but the bioactive thing is so new. Like not everybody's doing it, and so I've learned from Crab Central Station and Mary Akers, and trying to watch some of the stuff on YouTube that comes up with bioactive. But there's really not too much, so I really appreciate that you popped on here to talk to us about it. So thank you for being here.
And keep me updated. I'm also available on like Facebook. I'm pretty active in the groups, so definitely share updates. I'd love to see anyone who's trying out bioactive.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's see. I have some questions over there. There we go. Thank you. I'm not sure if someone else did that or thank you. Let's see. Erica, you can have snails in freshwater. Yes, there are freshwater snails. I'm not sure which ones Aquila had, but she seemed to have small ones. Like I know there's like mystery snails, and those ones and neurites tend to climb out of the water and would probably die in a hermit crab tank. But if you stick to smaller ones like ram's horns, you could probably get away with that. Though ram's horns do reproduce a lot. So if you're not doing frequent water changes, they can make your tank dirtier because of their poop. So I do have some snails in with my tanks just because they came in on live plants and I got them. But yeah. Yes, Jade has them too, ram's horn snails. They're very prolific. They're fun to watch though. And yes, Ashley, I have used silicone in my tanks before. You have to use it before hermit crabs are added. It takes a long time to dry out, but GE Silicone 1 with no additives works really well. And I have used it in backgrounds before, but I like changing things up so much. I don't like how permanent it is. So I usually go with the egg crate and the command strips. But if you're like making like a centerpiece or gluing or silicone together cork bark, silicone is great. Just make sure it's like fully dried out before it goes in the hermit crab habitat. And looks like we have another request over here. Hello, Brett. Okay. I know it can be, you can accidentally hit those buttons. Yes. Yes, Savannah, I definitely got my pest snails for free at shops before. They just kind of happen on plants. Though the plants we sell at Josh's Frogs, most of them are snail free, I believe. I'm not sure about the duckweed since the duckweed is collected from our fish tanks, but the other plants we get are supposed to be pest free. And is there ever free shipping on Josh's Frogs? Yes. There is. There's always free shipping on dry goods over $100, and there's free shipping on plant or on pet purchases $300 and up. Though I can give you a little sneak peek here. Amazon's Prime Day is coming up, and we usually have a similar sale on our site. So I guess keep an eye out for that. I can't give too many details away though. Let's see, Ashley.
Hi, this is cool. Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi, Ashley.
Hi. So I'm very, very new to this. I started probably about a month and a half ago, and I kind of wanted to show you what I had. Yeah, see, one of my hermits got way up there because for some reason the silicone didn't stick, even though it was sticking before. So I wanted to kind of show you what I have in here. Can you see it? Like how it's like coming off from there? So yeah, so I actually found out how to make my own bridge, but I know I need to start with those command strips because I feel like it'll help hold it together a lot better, especially because I know that I've moved my tank around probably about 30 million times already. So I understand using command strips would probably be a lot better and probably a lot easier. But thank you so much for all the information in your video. I really appreciated it. And I didn't really have any questions because once you start in this life, there's no going back. I've done so much research. But yeah, so thank you. That's all I wanted. I wanted to like show you what I meant by the silicone and kind of give you an idea as to where I'm like at right now.
Okay. Your tank is super pretty though. I hope the command strips work out for you.
Me too, because that silicone is so messy.
It is, and it smells. I always get a headache when I use it. I'd rather not use it.
Especially because I already have 3 of them in there, and I don't want to take them out again because then they're going to freak out.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
You too.
Let's see. How do you get hired at Josh's Frogs? Well, let's see. You can follow our Indeed page, and we always have our most up-to-date job listings on there. And I'm not sure. Like, you don't even have to be like super into like pets to like qualify. Like, you don't have to be a dart frog expert keeper like before you get hired at Josh's Frogs. I just had like a few cats and like some fish when I got hired. So Josh's Frogs, like, you don't have to be an expert to be hired, but probably the main thing, if you want to be hired at Josh's Frogs, you do have to be local. We definitely prefer in-person over virtual positions. Let's see. What do you do if you accidentally import mosquito larvae? It happened to my indoor koi pond. How could you eliminate them safely? Well, hopefully, hopefully your hermit crab pool would be small enough that you could probably pull it out and dump it out. I'm not super good at I'm not exactly sure how to answer this. I would definitely bring it up in a later session. There's going to be, I think the session is later today, talking about problems in your habitat and how to fix them. And I know they're going to be dealing with accidental pests. So I definitely bring up that question there. Where is Josh's Frogs located? We are located in Michigan. So it's pretty chilly up here to have all these tropical animals, but we are in Michigan, and we often have people, we have a very few, or that we definitely have some employees that drive from an hour away, hour and a half away in Michigan to work here. But, and we've had people move like from other states to come work here, but yeah. Well, it looks like it's 12 o'clock and the session's about to be over. You can always message Josh's Frogs customer service if you have any more questions, or you could ask me in one of the groups. So yeah, thank you all so much for your questions. I hope I answered them, and keep on enjoying CrabCon. Oh, I can stay here. I guess if anyone has more questions and they want to multitask on the next session, I can be here. Though I do have to get going. I do have some meetings after this, but I'll be in here sporadically throughout CrabCon today since I am still working. I'll be more available tomorrow. Yeah, thank you everyone. Glad you enjoyed. Danielle, how big is the 10-quart bag of substrate? Oh, I wonder if I have some up here. Let's see. I can pull it out for you. Now this is not the hermit crab biobedding. This is a different 10-quart, but the 10-quart bag is going to be about this big. And the 10-quart bag needs to be mixed with sand to work. We definitely wanted to make the biobedding shipping friendly and weight friendly, and sand is very heavy. So the 10-quart bag needs to be mixed with one 50-pound bag of play sand, and it will do a 20-gallon easily. You might even be able to go like up to a 29 long with the 10-quart bag mixed with the play sand. Yep. All right, so I probably have to get going. And if you want to learn more about Josh's Frogs and how we've partnered with Mary with the captive breeding program, check in tomorrow. We'll be doing another Q&A with her. So yeah, I guess I'll see you all tomorrow.